In May last year, the Professional Conduct Panel Teaching Regulation Authority recommended to the Education Secretary that a maths teacher should be banned from teaching after being found guilty of unacceptable professional conduct. A panel from the Teaching Regulation Agency found Mr. Sutcliffe had not treated his transgender student with dignity or respect after refusing to use his or her pronouns, as well as finding that he inappropriately shared his Christian beliefs with pupils. But Mr. Sutcliffe has taken this decision to ban him from teaching to the High Court, which heard yesterday from his lawyers that this decision was an unjustified interference in his right to free speech and freedom of religion. So what will the High Court make of it? Well, I'm joined now by the man himself, Joshua Sutcliffe. Joshua, first of all, thank you so much for coming in.
Oh, it's a pleasure. Thank you.
This can't be much fun for you. You're a maths teacher, you want to be teaching maths, not working your way through the law courts.
Oh, I agree with you. I mean, a few times yesterday I was brought to tears. I'm just listening to all the arguments again and, losing the profession that I love. But I'm very happy that in the UK we're able to take our case to the judiciary and hoping for an excellent outcome in the next few weeks or months.
And what led to all this? How did it come about that the Teachers Regulatory Authority decided to take away your right to teach?
Well, again, it was argued yesterday that the fundamental reason was that I didn't want to use the pronouns of a student in my class, and then that has been taken on by the TRA, as you mentioned, as the dogma that must be submitted to. But we're hoping that the judiciary recognise that there are alternative opinions. And of course, we've seen recently in the press the CAS review come out, and it really sort of backs, an alternative perspective.
Was TRA basically deciding that the law was that gender self-identification was to be followed by teachers?
I would say so, yes. And I think that's why we need to see this case overturned, because it isn't the TRA's decision to assert these sorts of contentious issues into our society. And the school asserted that on me, and then the TRA have asserted it. But hopefully the judiciary recognise that it doesn't need to be that way in our country.
And the CAS review has been very important because a very detailed study has shown the dangers of allowing children to think that they have a different sex or gender.
Well, this was my reservation from the outset, is that it leads children down a very dangerous path, I would suggest, because you go on to take hormones and a range of other things can be implemented, and that was my reservation. But I did always try and consider the student and treat them with dignity and respect. Actually, the finding was that because I didn't use the pronouns, that I didn't treat them with dignity and respect, and that's really where the argument, centres, and as we heard yesterday.
But we now really know from the CAS review that it may in fact be better not to use somebody's pronouns because you may be encouraging an entirely different problem.
Yeah, and I'm really pleased that the medical professionals have backed up that position because, it's the well-being of the young people that's paramount. And it's why I went into teaching, is to help the young people and, and to try and better their life, just to help them and to help them improve with their education and so on. So, I'm really pleased that the medical experts have come to that conclusion.
And how strong an influence in the findings against you was your Christian faith?
I do think that the student and other people may have taken that into stronger consideration than was necessary. I was and still am very good at separating my sort of views from my professional conduct. And I do think that because people have seen me in places like this, sat with you, Jacob, that they think that they've kind of made a view about me without actually taking into consideration the facts of the case.
Were you going into class and saying, repent and believe the gospel?
No, of course not. My classes were actually very high performing, and I took great pride in that. And, still to this day, if I were to help anyone, I would be confident that the same outcome would be,
It seems quite hard to get religion into a maths lesson.
Well, it's difficult, of course.
And Pythagoras was a religious figure of some kind, had very strange religious beliefs.
Did he?
Yes, he did. But other than that, it's not a particularly proselytizing environment.
Well, exactly. No, no. Your guess is as good as mine, Jacob. But I do know my differentiation and from my geometry, and I'm good at those things. But aside from that, obviously, I do have a strong Christian conviction.
But this was part of the reason you were banned for teaching from life, was it that you promoted your Christian faith in the school?
It was part of the case was, since you've asked, that I had a conversation with the student who made the allegations against me, and that conversation was something that came to light. My views on marriage, my traditional views of marriage between a man and a woman. But it wasn't really the epicenter of the debate yesterday. It was really around the gender, the pronouns, and those sorts of things. So I would have thought that those other things would have been dismissed by now, because it has been the focus throughout.
And that is the issue of misgendering,
right,
which very helpfully from the Cass report has now been dismissed essentially as a thing, that people have the gender that they're born with. They don't have a gender that they think that they've got because they've decided to change it.
Yes, that's the truth.
Well, that's the truth, and now people are able to say it again without creating a great scandal. But you were very unfortunate to be caught up in the hysteria that there was around allowing self-identification.
I agree with you, Jacob, and I'm really hoping that because of what's come to light in recent months and years, that it's quickly overturned, and I can be free to do what I love if I so choose.
And when do you expect the judgment?
It should be a few months, I'm told, but it's difficult to tell.
Okay. Well, I wish you every success and good luck in that, and thank you for coming in, Joshua.